Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome, brothers and sisters, again to Islamic Action TV. Gorilla Man, the production of me, Mohammed Solomon, and my special co-host,
Ali Hugh, back in the, I wouldn't say hot seat,
well,
we're back in the seat, back in the, we'll hope to get some fire in the booth, so inshallah. To all the viewers out there, YouTube land, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Once again, we have a power-packed 15-20 minutes for you, so do not go anywhere. You won't want to miss this week's show. We're back again, right? Talking about the sex life of the Muslimah, which we know so far. We've had lots of hits on the last kind of like thing we chopped up and broke off.
The last episode was appreciated.
The feedback has been tremendous. I think we touched on the raw nerve here of a silent majority of Muslims, particularly the sisters, who, from what we can see, feel that sometimes they get overlooked. I mean, just some, and first of all, we'll just clarify, we're not here trying to say that we are trying to speak on behalf of the sisters, because that wouldn't patronize them in that way at all. But what we're trying to say is that if this can help to strengthen their voice, and create that space in which they step into the fray and speak about these issues which are pertinent for them, then so be it. Because as
we said before, it doesn't seem to be nowhere in the mainstream, or we're questioning where is the environment for things of this nature to be discussed. Because if it's not worthy to be discussed, then people won't watch the video. But the proof is in the pudding. We put the video out there, and we have responses from London, and even from as far as the ATL.
When we go on the analytics on the YouTube seats, so all over the world, people are just tuning in, really fascinated with this subject. Because obviously, what we're saying is that Allah obviously made male and female in the Quran, and obviously we've got desires. Yes, we've got desires, we've got feelings, we've got emotions, and to somehow, because of someone's gender, relegate their emotions or their feelings or their desires less than another person's. Well, we're saying, hey, come on, that's not within the Islam that we know about, and what we're saying is that these topics are pertinent because in any marriage, in any relationship, let's be honest, sex is a big factor for human beings to survive, even, food, warmth, clothing, shelter. These are the basics, and obviously without, copulation, and Islamically, of course, in a marriage, the human species will exist. So this is an important factor. And I think, people gotta, if you're gonna pay a lot of attention to the front room and the kitchen, hey, the bedroom, that also should have some, should be a central part of the house as well for the couple.
Indeed.
This is the thing that we're talking about. So we're going to be chopping up, but we're going to be breaking down, brother, today.
One of the things I want to look at, it's coming from a different perspective, maybe the kind of addressing the objectification of women. There's a hadith. I say hadith because the translation I don't know if it's accurate, but I want to think if the language is the most helpful. I've heard the hadith that's been attributed to the Prophet Muhammad, that if you, for the husband who is out in the commonplace and he sees a woman who is attractive or something of this nature and it stirs his emotions, his desires, that he should go home and take it out on his wife. When I heard that word, take it out on his wife, that phrase, I'm questioning
the actual.
we need to look into the trend.
Think about that.
Take it out. When you think of, okay, something happens and you displace that energy onto something else, it's as if say you were angry, and that you're going on to be angry.
Angry, And
like the woman that raised your desires made you mad, and you're gonna go home and take it out. So I don't know if that's an accurate translation.
I think this is the thing about it. We've got to be very careful with the wording of a lot of these translations, because sometimes it takes away from the real meaning. He spoke obviously in parables and phrases, but he will speak and look at answers in the best of ways. So we talked about this hadith when he says, do not position yourself with your wife as the
don't approach him like the male camel approach the she camel.
Exactly.
Just taking his desires
and leaving. Taking out, so we have to be.
A man should show attention and gentility and romance,
sensitivity and love,
chivalry to his wife.
Yeah, I mean, the Moors were known for that. These black Muslims from the Middle Ages, they were known. The whole thing of the lutes, the man outside the woman's house, playing the lute, the little guitar, and serenading her, charming her, the troubadour. Right? This is Islamic, or this is Islamic history. And the one thing they said, most people would say, "What man that's tall, dark, and handsome?" Where do you think that came from? Because it came from this romantic side that the Moors brought into Europe. So as Muslims, particularly men, we should be sensitive to the needs of the female, and we should be sensitive. And also, as the brother was saying, we got to check a lot of these hadith in terms of what they say in the translation. Because when it comes into English, it completely could remove away the sensitivity and make the woman seem almost like she's an object.
That's the point I was trying to raise, because if you think about it, alright, I'm not suggesting that I'm a muhaddith, but think about it, there's another hadith that's attributed to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and it sounds more consistent with the message of Islam and the character of the Rasul, when it says that the best of you are the ones who are best to their wives, and I'm the best to my wives. Then that that sits. You understand that translation says that sounds consistent with the
best
that
of
makes
you.
sense.
Yes.
So the best of you as men are not the the one that's most proficient in this professional sphere or in the corporation or the one who earns the most money, but the best of you, the best to your wives.
SubhanAllah.
That's deep. That means something about the woman being important. That's like the level of paradise at your mother's feet, or the best of you is the best of your wives. Now the female is empowered. You contrast that to if you see a woman who stirs your desires, go home and take it out on your wife.
This is the problem again. Once again, when you have this patriarchal male hegemony,
there we go.
You have this. Even if you look at into today's society, the amounts. I don't want to distract from the topic, but if you look at the sad fact that most rapes go unreported, most rapes are about power, as we know. But the point is, it's always this blaming of the woman for rape, right? Okay, maybe she dresses a particular way, but that's not the point. The point is, it is wrong to do this act, and it is wrong to objectify women. And this is what happens in these cases of rape happen, because the woman has been objectified. And the man, instead of accepting his responsibility and his role for violating a human being, will say, oh, well, she dressed this way, or she was out after Maghrib. That don't mean you must go put your hand on her. Or you have a part of your on her.
Or it was in this particular neighborhood.
Not a
bad neighborhood.
So that was the reason why we had to stop for Allah. This is not of us, brother.
Yeah, this is disgusting, because
it's disgusting.
I mean, think about it. Like, that if it's people work in the workplace, somebody works in a government corporation or something like that, or a government or an NHS. So I took a stapler home, or it's available. People end up with the extra pens in their house, or whiteboard markers or stuff like that. That's something because it's circumstantial. It was there. I took it as a Tipex.
Yes.
I'm not encouraging it.
Exactly.
I'm not suggesting that's what you should do.
I'm talking about Islam.
Exactly, but the reality of possibly people who are government workers, they photocopy something at work or something like that.
Yes.
Because it was available, but. Taking something from a woman that she didn't
violate,
that she didn't give you that, because it was available. Madness. This says more about the psychology of the individual as opposed to the context of the woman and how she was dressed or how she carried herself or how she was perceived to be. If she was even naked walking down the road, it is no business of yours. You turn your face or you lower your gaze.
Turn it on exactly.
You keep it moving.
Keep it stepping.
So the misogyny has to be addressed, and the harmony is what we're looking for between the husband and the wife, because those are the building blocks of the society. They bring the next generation into existence.
I think it's
very important. They create an emotionally secure environment. If there is angst and turmoil between the man and the woman, between the female and the male, the husband and the wife, how can the children be the fruit of that? How can they be spoiled or affected by the fit between the mum and the dad?
Yes, because obviously this is the point. I mean, there are those that say a woman there's certain, unfortunately, certain scholars and certain fatwas have passed to say, for example, should a woman, I read a hadith the other day about a woman, this was brought to me by another sister that told me about this on one of her Facebook page, was about, it was haram for women to wear high heels, right? And the sister, she read this, she was upset, and she said, this is just ridiculous. And she started, and it was, I think it was by Albani, Sheikh Albani, somebody used his fatwa to say that apparently back in the days of the Yahuds, this Yehudi woman would go into the marketplace in high heels, looking to have to commit zina with any man that was available, and high heels was part of what they would wear to commit this sin. And therefore, because this is something that the Yehudis used to do, and we should not follow the kuffar in their religion, we should, this is haram for Muslim women to wear high shoes, right? Now the sister thought this was ridiculous. She's not cussing the sheikh, but she's saying that maybe that he's not infallible, and maybe the hadith has been misinterpreted, either maybe in the translation, or maybe there's more meaning to it. But somebody else will take it and use it for their own machination. But ultimately, it's ridiculous, because high heels. It's like saying if a woman goes in certain countries a man and a woman committing zina can wear hijab, niqab, you won't know if they're walking on the street holding hands.
So that makes it...
Yeah, would you ban niqab ban? This is silly, right? If you want to wear high heels, wear high heels. You don't. The idea that...
So if the woman did the zina in trainers...
Okay, we ban trainers
or she went barefoot and showed a naked toe. I don't know.
You see, even as questioning it, Aki, you're cussing your sheikh. No, we're not cussing your sheikh.
We're just looking at it from different perspectives.
Exactly.
It's just
this is what Islam's about.
Critical thinking.
Because the sister questioned it, other sister was cussing her off. And it's almost, she said to me, it's almost next, women will be asking men, is it okay to bleed every
21 days,
yeah. Or is it okay to go to the toilet soon? This is common sense, yeah? Women have the same drive, even more higher sex drive than men in cases. Women equally can look at a man and find him attractive, his body, his parts of his body. Women equally want their desires met in the bed, at home. They may want to, experiment, right? So men have got to come off of this image of women as this kind of like fluffy little dolls that don't have any desires and they're only there to be taken. This is completely wrong. And this is what sisters have been telling us through the emails and through their comments to us privately, that they find what we're doing is revolutionary in helping them to perhaps even empower them to speak to their husbands to improve the situation. Because as the brother was saying, people just get locked into the 9 to 5, the children. And when you have children, you lose sometimes that spontaneity. The romance is challenge, yes. Yeah. And this idea that woman's place is in the home, all right, that's all good and well. But even
how does that play out with career women? Because a lot of Muslim sisters in the 21st century in the Western world, they are educated women. Sometimes even more educated than their husbands, with high-profile jobs, or even high-profile but professions. Contributing to society. I was in a conversation recently, and a Sheikhs was saying that we need to go back to the old days, because as it is in the East, because the in those societies, the women stay at home and they look after the children. I think staying at home looking after children has its place. I think it's
it's an honourable
place.
Yeah, it's nothing to be.
I'm still left scratching my head when I start to think about when a child is like a child technically, but like they're 15 or 12. I mean, what do you do for the better part of the waking hours of the day? Like they're in school. So why do you need to stay at home, like looking after the young children, wet nursing, and between a certain age? But you want to read a book, you want to go to college, you want to get qualified, you want to expand your mind, you want to have a circle for sisters, or you want to become a teacher, you want to become a lawyer, you want to contribute to your society in some way. But because you're a female, you should, and you have children. What about for the women that cannot have children, for example? What's their role?
This is the point, though, Aki. I think what it is that people have lost the spirit of Islam and they've lost the essence of Islam, and they think Sheikh Hamza used to said that we are not Victorian somehow because of the colonialization. Muslims have adopted a Victorian concept of sexual relations, of how women should be. Frigidity, yeah. So we only allow the missionary position because the missionaries, when they went to Africa, the Europeans, when they went to Africa amongst or Asia, decided that certain acts within the sex act were forbidden and un-Christian-like. So they only allowed the so-called missionary position, hence the word missionary, them being missionaries, right? So any other act, any other position was completely seen as wrong. Now, as far as we know, Allah says in the Quran that the woman is a tilth for you. Enter your tilth as you will, and it's
so mutually between the husband and wife, what's in their bedroom.
They're like the cloth, it's the private life, yeah. So between them two, whatever they feel they need to pull themselves together, to gel together, to keep the spontaneity alive, that's important. We know, obviously, we're not saying that sex is the only thing, because obviously,
that there's no boundaries.
No boundaries. No, we're not espousing that. However you feel comfortable, you and your partner in a halal setting is entirely up to you. It's not anybody else's business, but between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the key thing, isn't it? If you're not speaking to your partner, if you're not asking them what is it that they find pleasurable, if you don't know what pleases them, how, where and when, then obviously you're not going to have that harmony. Because asking communication is the key, isn't it? Here.
And sometimes people don't only communicate overtly with words, but it can be with like kind of symbolic language or subtle language. But the important thing is that not to feel repressed and suppressed and ashamed to be able to express
it's dirty,
desire.
sex is dirty. Once again, this is not from Islam. It's not from us. This is
enjoying your intimacy too much. It's from the kuffar. It's from the Western society. Have you been, maybe you've been on Facebook too much, or it's social media that's causing people to have these desires because, like, what's going on? What's that about? He said it's a Victorian mentality. Islam is a universal religion. So it appeared on planet Earth, or it was manifest in the Hijaz. Yes. Alhamdulillah, that's Allah's will. But it doesn't mean that every culture is going to be like the Hijazi culture.
Exactly.
Islam is going to come and meet the needs of different, or address the challenges of different societies around the globe.
SubhanAllah.
Yeah, so these different societies and cultures have their own idiosyncrasies, their own preferences, their own customs, and their own mores.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some things that, according to the hukam, according to the rulings, they may be forbidden or they may be
Allah did not create you to despise each other, but so you can learn and know each other. That's what the Holy Quran says.
There you go.
So he's accepting the
universality,
the plurality of different cultures. And sexually, people will have different sexual ways of engaging. We can't just create, as you said, the Hijazi one and rubber stamp that all over everybody.
Monolithic intimacy.
That everybody must tie into.
Yeah. Because
the Arabs themselves might have a particular way of how they derive enjoyment.
Perceptions of women.
Perceptions of women.
And a woman's place.
That's right. Because of that, we then, doesn't mean the man in West Africa, the man in Mali, or the man in Denmark, or the man in Russia will have exactly, or the man and woman in Russia will have exactly the same view. No, it's all of this is part of the melting pot of Islam. All this part of the plurality, the multifacetedness of Islam. All these things that bring any couple together, that brings excitement and passion and drive to the relationship. SubhanAllah, because he said children born from that passion will continually have that. If the parents are happy,
in a loving
relationship
home with affection between parents, it's going to be a better environment than an environment where the mum is under a niqab chewing a wasp. If I can put it like that, she's very honest. That's
not euphemism.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we're not saying to the woman, because sometimes you get these type of talks about the sex life of a Muslim, and it's always about the poor woman. She's working, she's tired, and she's always got to be glammed up for the man and blah 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 blah. No, once it's communication, speak to your husband. Right? Because he might feel, okay, tonight, but you might be thinking, well, the one thing is that the kids had a long day at work, all these things happening, right? Because this society does kill romance in a way. So you and him have to sit down and talk about those things. Be honest about them. You don't want him running off and watching, like illicit stuff on the internet, doing them type of things. Because he's frustrated. Or as you said, looking at other women and stuff and blah, 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 blah. He should be focusing on you. His attention should be on you. Now we're not, so we're not putting extra pressure on you.
You mean like the Sufi say that the only thing they see is the only object is the wife, because there's nothing, everything else is visible because of that type of love.
Exactly, So this is the point that, that Allah is actually, he said he made men and women so that, to be coverings for each other, the clothing for each other. So there's that harmony, there's that balance. Even this so-called hadith that is 72 virgins, waiting for the matter, or like this idea of the Quran being this masculine book that's all about men getting all this pleasure in Jannah is incorrect, because in the Arabic, from what we understand, and correct was if we're wrong, it doesn't mention the word virgin. It just mentions pure beings in Jannah for the believing man and the believing woman. So heaven ain't just this masculine paradise. The believing man and the believing woman. And they will be served by these beautiful beings, like pearls, both of them. Right? So, you know what I mean? So those sisters who may not have a man in this world, Allah will bless them with a husband in the next. So it's not just this paradise of 72 virgins and the rest of it. This is another mistranslation. And I said this, I'll own it. It's not Islam needs a reformation or a change. It's the scholars. The scholars need to tackle these issues, and it should not be left to people like ourselves to do this. But if they ain't gonna do it, who gonna teach the people, man?
Who gonna teach them people?
Who gonna teach them people?
Alright, excuse me, I shouldn't really say that. She was correcting me. Who is going to teach?
She's going to teach.
People,
Who is going to educate?
But nonetheless, the question still
stands.
Yes. So I just want to make one more point, because I know that the time is moving. Time is moving. But I think there's two things I want to drop. One is the practical thing that maybe Muslims need to consider, something like the concept of date night, where you set a time, where there's certain times where if you have children, but you organise childcare facilities so that you can spend time alone together, to go to the cinemas for a meal, for a stroll along, candlelit meal, a stroll along the promenade, near the river, whatever you do, however you get down.
If you sell clothing, lingerie.
If your husband, if the woman needs X, Y, if the wife needs a budget to make herself spruce,
then do that.
Brothers,
provide.
You got to dig.
Provide it.
You got to dig deep. You got to find that money. You got to find that resource.
A happy wife is a happy life.
Yeah, right, there you go. So that's part one, and part two is, as you said about the scholars, no slight or no negative inference, but we have to move. Personally, I think, as a student of psychology, we have to move beyond Haram Islam, in the sense where the only time that those that are the most learned come to tell you what's
sister, thank you. The Haram police.
It's not political. Yeah, we don't need the Haram police. We want people who are experts in this beautiful religion called Islam, or this science of Islam, the different spheres of Islam, to come and tell you what is permissible and what could be helpful. Not just don't do that, don't do that. Nah, that's not helpful. That's not helpful. Otherwise, what you have is a population and a generation of people who are suppressed, feel oppressed, and are frustrated, and they formally or informally leave the religion.
Well, bro, it's not going to happen in the Catholic Church. The Pope this week have to now come out with, as a Catholic, they now have to look at the issues of divorce, abortion, because they're realizing that the people are not listening to the Pope anymore. They're just passing all these laws with the cardinals, but no one cares. And they're realizing, what's the point in having all these cardinals and these priests and these sheikhs when nobody's even listening to you anyway? So now they're having to realize that they're in a 21st century paradigm, and people have real issues around divorce, real issues around abortion, contraception. How will they deal with that? And I think the Muslim scholars and those with the ijaz, those with the knowledge, they're the ones, who are now faced with the same situation in that term. There's no point having a flock if not listening to the shepherd.
That's right. So we hope that we provoked thought.
Inshallah.
And that you remember to subscribe. It's been a pleasure as always. As always, it's a pleasure. And we hope to see you next time on Islamic Action TV Guerrilla Minded Productions. But until such time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah ta'ala wa barakatuh.
And for me, Mohammed Solomon, it's Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Until next time, a Muslim, keep it locked. We're going to be coming with more and more power packed jams for you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.